welcome back. It's Lost in My 40s, Season 2, Episode 21. It's called Question Mark. It's a Mr. Echo episode. It's a Ben episode. This week, we lament that the hot chicks are dying. Locke is just a limb of himself. And of course, Monsignor.
Oh, yeah, that was Monsignor.
That'll make sense tomorrow. Okay, so how's everybody doing today?
Doing all right.
As you can see, we have special guest Caleb here. He was on last week's episode 2 for the road. He brought us goopy fruit, which I'll never forget. And he's here with us today. Welcome, Caleb.
Hi, I was gonna save this for a surprise, but I'm actually working on a Goopy Fruit logo for a T-shirt for you guys.
Goopy fruit.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Go ahead.
When we said that, I was listening to it during mixing, and then I feel like I've gone through, because there was a lot of content in this episode, so I feel like I've gone through it so many times that I feel like we talked about goopy fruit a lot.
A lot. Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot, and it had me laughing every single time. I actually have another T-shirt I've been working on too. I haven't said anything yet, but I want to put out a T-shirt that just says "Anywho." So we'll release those two at the same time.
Or,
all right, so
hello everybody.
Oh, Caleb, so tell us, did you win anything at Geekend? Because we told our listeners last weekend that's where you were.
Sadly, I did not. No, I transitioned away from console gaming to PC gaming several years ago, and it completely effed me in the video game tournaments.
Oh no,
yeah,
you lost your skills.
That's okay though.
Wow.
It's fine.
PC games pay you back in quality.
Yeah, exactly. So, but and no, the lunch money tournament came down to me and my friend Lutch. And he just ultimately had a better hand of cards than I did.
Yeah, I know Lutch. Lutch and I walked down the aisle together at your wedding.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So, who's ready for a joke? Anyone?
Oh God.
Anyone? All right. I read somewhere that in New York City, someone is stabbed every 52 seconds. It's gotta suck to be that guy. I love when Derek is disgusted. All right. So last week, Caleb mentioned J.J. Abrams' Mystery Box during the podcast. And so I looked it up, and he actually did a TED Talk. So the Mystery Box, you told us about it, but I looked it up, and it basically is Abrams' sort of theory about writing shows, and that you should keep the audience outside of the box.
Yes.
Yeah. So I watched the TED Talk. It's interesting. You should watch it. This is a little bit of an excerpt from it. So he mentions an actual like mystery box that he bought from a magic store, and how it had sat on his desk for a while and he never opened it. And he started to think it was supposed to be have magic inside or something like that. And so he says this: I bought this decades ago, and I'm not kidding. If you look at this, you'll see it's never been opened, but I've had this forever. Now, I was looking at this. It was in my office, as it always is, on the shelf. And I was thinking, why have I not opened this? Why have I kept it? He continues, and a little further down the talk, he says, the thing is that it represents infinite possibility. It represents hope. It represents potential. And what I love about this box, and what I realize I sort of do in whatever it is I do, is I find myself drawn to infinite possibility, that sense of potential. And I realize that mystery is the catalyst for imagination, which I think sounds good. I also read some criticism on it, and there are people who think that he needs to let it go, that it worked for things like Lost, but that it ruined his Star Wars movie. And yeah, I found it kind of interesting. I think it's worth watching the TED Talk if you like J.J. Abrams. But anyways, I wanted to thank you, Caleb, for bringing that up, because that was something I didn't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shittier version of the Plato's cave analogy.
Oh, I mean, okay.
It's kind of, yeah, it has become problematic for him. And there's a lot going on with him right now. He essentially has been shut out of a lot of development at HBO Max that they originally had him doing.
Oh, no kidding.
He was key, like he had a handful of DC properties set up. And one of which had been in development for like, I want to say like 6 years, and they'd spent a large amount of money on it. And finally, the new president was like, "I don't know what the fuck you're doing, but we're pulling all this back." So I think he
Wow.
still has 1 or 2 things in development over there, but yeah, he's kind of on the outs, I guess I'd say right now with a lot of people. He's suffering from
Interesting.
what I think is that like too much hype M. Night Shyamalan curse. you know?
Yeah.
And it sounds like his writing is also now trapped in this mystery box.
I mean, his writing has honestly always been garbage. I mean, yeah, I mean, go back and like look at Alias episodes and stuff like that. And
I loved Alias. It's true.
Yeah.
It's a bad show, but I like bad shows.
Yeah.
Some of them, like I
we're
love
watching
Alias.
Fringe right now, and it's awful but fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fringe,
Fringe is
another
fun, but-
another J.J. Abrams, which is it's pretty bad. It's totally absurd. As somebody who respects like the scientific process, watching it is like, oh my god. But I can't help
I'm a
it.
scientist, Peter.
The characters are great, though. I don't know. It's not as good as Lost, I think. But
No.
all right. So this week's episode, it's Mr. Echo, who is killing it in our rankings right now. Can anybody catch him? We don't know. Actually, we know. You don't know.
Yeah.
And it's also a Ben episode. And this week, both Locke and Echo look for answers in their dreams. So what I want to know is like, tell me about a recurring dream that you either have now or had sometime in your life. How about Derek?
Lately, probably the past few years, it's been my parents, because they both are dead, but I dream about them a lot for some reason.
Wow.
'Cause
Well, that's
normally
where
before that, I didn't have recurring dreams.
So that's where you see them, is in
Yep.
your dreams. Wow. That's kind of sad and beautiful all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Wow, Christy, we all know you have zombie recurring dreams. So you want to talk about that, or is there something else?
No, I don't have them anymore. I had
Right.
them
That's right.
yeah.
You got it until you started watching The Walking Dead, and that sort
Yeah.
of killed it, right?
They cured
Yeah.
you, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, The Walking Dead literally helped get rid of my zombie apocalypse nightmares. And, Caleb can attest to this. I would wake up and he'd be like, well, just try to go back to sleep. And I'm like, no, I can't. Zombies will get me,
I know.
because every time I would go back to sleep, I would get right back into the dream. And it was terrifying.
I had
When I
something
was a-
similar to that when I was the first time I saw Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That movie freaked me the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that your recurring dream, Ben? Body Snatchers?
No.
What is yours?
I have a hard time remembering most of my dreams. The one that I always seem to have over and over is one where like I'm having to take like a math test and I don't know any of the answers. That's really
That
it.
sounds like a nightmare for you.
Yeah, seriously. That's exactly right. Like I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I know this test is really
no.
important. And I've had them from the time I was in high school until now, and in that I'm always in college or high school.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
Did you
I
have
actually
something
do
else,
have
Christy?
another, yeah.
Yeah.
I still, all these years later,
Rocky Run.
randomly have Rocky Run dreams.
Yeah.
And it's
that's the-
always,
yeah.
I'm in the weeds, nobody's helping me. And yeah.
Rocky Run is the brewery that Christy and Caleb and I worked at in the late 90s, early 2000 area. That's how we know each other. And everybody, we had a really not like cool crew that worked there. We were all really good friends. And every single one of us had nightmares about that place. They were all
and
recurring.
likely still do.
Yeah, you too, Caleb. Is that yours, Rocky Run?
Yep.
That's
I've
so
even
great.
actually had some that have picked up. I mean, those aren't my recurrent
Yeah.
dreams, what I was going to talk about today, but I've actually had Rocky Run dreams where they connect even like months, weeks later.
Oh, wow.
It'll pick up. It's weird.
You mentioned your Rocky Run dreams in last week's podcast. What did you have
Yeah.
today?
So I usually have less of recurrent dreams. I do have one that I'll talk about. It's spooky season, so it's a good time to pull that one out. But
Ooh.
it's more like themes that run through dreams. And
Okay.
A big one that runs through mine is like my lovely wife suddenly becoming very cold to me and very indifferent towards me.
Oh,
and it'll
I would be
happen-
worried about that.
Me having sex with giant black men. That happens in your dreams from time to time.
Is it Echo? Is it
It's,
Mr.
no, but it's more than just it's more than just
Wow.
that, but
Wow.
cold. So it's that theme of her just kind of being, cold and indifferent to me. That
Yeah, I
that
would
runs
worry
through all
about
my
that
dreams.
because Christy's never cold and indifferent. If she was, there would be a real fucking problem.
Yeah. But,
So go ahead.
I was gonna say I also used to have a dream. I did have this one a couple of times when I was much younger. I think when I was around 17, 18, where I'd find myself following a guy, a man in a suit. I'd be chasing after him. We'd be running through a hallway full of doors, and I would catch up to him incrementally. And then I never caught him. But then one time I got close enough to him. I put my hand on his shoulders and I spun him around. And his face was like a living Hanaya mask, like a Japanese Hanaya mask. And I was so freaked out in my dream. And Christy's heard me tell us before. I was so freaked out in my dream. It literally clicked in my head. I was like, wait. And I remember saying out loud in the dream, this is my dream and I control it. And he got this look on his face and he said, oh, this is your dream, but you're not in control.
Oh, that's fucking scary. Oh,
And I woke
Jesus.
up. I woke up right there.
Wow.
And I haven't had that dream since.
That's some Freddy Krueger shit right there.
Yeah,
It really
right.
is.
I've also had that happen to me before, Caleb, where I've kind of touched on that lucid dreaming, like knowing that I'm asleep but not really being able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I had a recurring dream where I was always searching for the Holy Grail. And it was the same dream all the time, and it was like through adolescence. And that was the time. I mean, it was around the same age that I found Jesus for a few years, and then also watched,
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, yeah. With Sean Connery, yes.
Junior.
Yes.
So
It is you, Junior.
I think there's a combination of those two. Now I have recurring, sort of like you, Caleb, where it's more of like a theme. I call them my adventure dreams. Ben knows this.
Yeah.
And I will wake up and he'll say, well, how did you sleep last night? And I'm like, I'm tired. I had adventure dreams. And it's different scenery, but I'm always like trying to get somewhere and overcome obstacles. And I fall in the ocean and I swim through it, or I have to jump off a cliff or climb the side of a building. And I just wake up feeling like tired, which is probably just the apnea, but in my head.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
So you didn't wear your mouthpiece. That's why you're tired.
Yes. And so it feels like I've been like, climbing buildings, and I end up in the ocean, in the wide ocean, with large ocean creatures around me a lot. And
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It really is. Yeah. And so those are my adventure dreams, and I hate them. I
did have one, again, like theme, like you were saying. I do have one common theme, an ending to a dream. I have a lot of dreams where it's really, really dark. And I had this dream, I feel like once every couple of months, and I hadn't even thought about it until you said that, but where I'm basically on the road with somebody and it's sort of raining and we can't see anything. But then all of a sudden there's like lightning and we can see a giant tornado in front of us in the dark coming at us.
Oh, wow.
And I have I typically in the dream, I shut my eyes and I do that and then I wake up.
Well,
Wow.
Freud would have a field day with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Seriously.
This is all about your insecurities. All of you.
Do some cocaine.
Yeah, it's like, cool. Can I have some yayo, please?
All right. A fun question this week. If you could teach everyone in the world one concept, what concept would it be? Derek.
Mind your own business.
Powerful, simple,
That's-
powerful.
Okay.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm good with that. Christy, what about you?
Kind of the same. Just leave everybody the fuck alone.
Okay.
Live and let live.
Mm-hmm. Ben, what do you think?
That the anticipation of divine reward is nonsense, and it means that you're essentially a bad person. That's what makes you decent. Fuck.
Caleb, what about you?
Mine is just be a dude, don't be a dick.
Okay.
Kind of goes along with what Derek is saying. And,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Christy's saying, like, be a dude, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Mine is empathy, which is along the same lines. I feel like if people have empathy, it solves a lot of other problems, including probably minding your own fucking business. So yeah, that was mine. But we're all along the same lines. Just, don't be a dick. I guess I feel like empathy is a way to get there. So that was why I chose that. All right.
Another concept that I think is something that's cool that I just think people should know is the idea that the surface, the event horizon of a black hole is actually a perfect recorder of history.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
that's
of
really
time
interesting.
falls into there.
Yeah, everything as
Yeah.
everything falls into it, and then time dilates, it gets to a point where essentially eternity is recorded on its surface from
Mhm.
our perspective. So if you could tap that, you could literally you could rewind time and see everything that has happened
Mhm.
that has interacted with that black hole.
Mhm.
Far
It's
too big
literally
for
a
my
win.
brain to
It's
comprehend.
literally a
It's just-
window into time.
Yeah,
Or
that's,
Yeah, totally.
it's a glimpse of eternity because you'd actually see everything in a superposition all at once, which is just something we can't even we can't really conceptualize. But
So God is a
um,
black hole, basically.
wasn't that a Star
Um,
Trek episode?
It could be. All right, guys.
There's actually a theory out there, Ben, that we're actually living inside of a black hole.
yeah, that the universe itself is the inside of a black hole. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've read that too.
Yeah.
All right. We're getting deep here. It's time to end things. Next Tuesday, October 11th, we're back here with another pre-show. Tomorrow, we lament the hot chicks are getting killed. Locke is just
Indeed.
a limb of himself. And Monsignor.
I'll never
Tomorrow.
live that one down.
We'll see you then.